first we're going to start off. It was earnings week last week.
Yep.
So a few interesting things happened during earnings, but one of the biggest ones was that Tesla reported, and Tesla reported, and when they reported a net profit loss of 71%.
What?
70.
Another day at the office.
Tesla reported a sharp 71% drop in net income for the first quarter of 2025, earning $490 million compared to the same period last year.
Yep.
The decline was driven by falling vehicle deliveries, which were down 13%, and a 20% reduction in automotive revenue.
There's another interesting stat that was in there. There's the regulatory credits, meaning like when you buy an EV and you get credit, like I said, that actually was more than the operating profit margin of the quarter. Think about that.
Literally liability over asset.
So it's a few interesting things at play here, right? Because we talked about that on Monday as far as Tesla. I was saying that, I think it's a misnomer to say that Tesla's a tech company. It's a car company, and cars is their main source of income, and that's not been going well. And everybody knows about Elon, and so it was a lot of negative situations. But after a 71% drop, the stock actually went up.
Which is interesting, right? When that conversation last week, we said, and I remember saying this, right? They've had terrible lead ups into their earnings report. And after their earnings report, somehow they always seem to have the stock price go up. It was like, what's the next trick? What's the next trick? And boom, here comes the next trick.
Well, he got on that conference call and did that, baby, I'm going to do better play.
Well, that's the thing. So people was wondering, they're like, okay, everything is going downhill for Tesla as far as the numbers are concerned, Elon's public perception, everything. Why is Tesla stock going up? And it went up, I think, like 2 days in a row after the report.
It's up 20% over the past 5 days.
So the thing about it is that it's mainly up because he said that he was going to spend less time at Doge and focus more of his attention back on Tesla. And based off of that, a vote of confidence was given by the market that they were happy that he would refocus his energy on Tesla and make this thing work. So I'll let everybody get their perspective. But for me personally, like I said, I don't think it's going to work because Tesla is already having serious problems in China, in America, in Europe. We've talked about all of this stuff. And just because Elon says, okay, now I'm going to focus again, that's like, being in a marriage and then just checking out for 2 years. And then, okay, now I'm going to be the husband that you want to be. Like 2 years have already passed.
Financial gaslighting.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a better man.
But I tell you what, it does speak to some level of privilege because some people are afforded the opportunity to fail and there's no consequences for it.
Yeah.
Like if he was another CEO, if he was a different person, it wouldn't even, like, the whole thing of like DEI hire is because they're saying that people's not competent to do what they want to do, right? Like to do a job. So it's like, it's pretty amazing when you can literally just take 8 months off at a time, ruin a company, and then come back like, yo, my bad, I wasn't focused. You're rewarded for your negligence. So it's a lot of interesting dynamics. But what's your take?
I'll pick up from where you left off. Remember last year, 2 years ago, I was saying there was a mistake to discount the price of the cars, and he wasn't focused, and he'll probably go to chairman because he sees that Starlink is the brightest star in the draft. We'll talk Wednesday about draft misselection. But I do think a focused Elon is a dangerous Elon, but I think it's been a long time since he's been focused on this car company, parents. I know at the family reunion and after school, you always tell your kids you love them equally. But the truth is, when you're building portfolio companies, you have to fake. And Tesla for a long time has not been that for him. We look at the company, I know some of the people push back about it being a tech company and has technology in it that is almost antiquated now. Everybody got the big iPad. So do I like the LiDAR system? Yes. But gross margin, 17%, net margin, 6.72%. And when you got reclassified, Shot brought this point, when you go from luxury car to now it's like the select car and the Uber, that is not great for classification standpoint. And then when your CEO leaves for 8 months at a time or 9 months at a time to run a failed effort, and it also made his popularity rating go down to the lowest it's ever been in 15 years. Do I think there's some asymmetric risk here? Yep. If we get to 104, 03, I would like to pick up some more shares there. But I think Tesla has lost its lead and advantage by not being focusing on the things that matter to their consumer.
Yeah, I think Elon is interesting, right? I'm glad that you brought up the word privilege, because had this been another CEO with numbers like this on a complete miss, to have that level of confidence put into a stock is ridiculous based on the CEO. But we've seen it before, whether it was him in 2021 when it was the remnants of, hey, he's focusing on SpaceX and now his attention is there and he's kind of forgot about Tesla, or whether it was Starlink in 23 and his attention was there and that's going to be the thing that gets him out of this, but he forgot about the main thing. And in fact, we even had a debate about, when the main thing is the main thing, you got to make sure you treat it like the main thing. Those other things will get you to a different place. I'm sure Starlink will be one of those innovations that revolutionizes technology from a connectivity standpoint.
For sure.
But the main thing right now is the EV company / what tech components, which is another part of the confidence that a lot of the stockholders and the shareholders saw. And so now him saying, I'm going to refocus, I'm going to get back to it, the confidence is there. The other part is the belief. Right. So when you looked inside of the call, what did you talk about? Autonomous driving. That's still on schedule. Before it was going to be delayed. Now it's still scheduled for June. The robo-taxi, same thing. What he didn't mention was what they're going to do with the Cybertruck, which hasn't really worked out the way they thought it would. And what is going to happen with the Model Y? They were supposed to put out a new one. Remember, they dropped the price for it. It's not selling the same way. So what do you do inside of that? Because that's your bread and butter, right? That Model Y is a number one seller. You just talked about 13% decline in sales year to date as opposed to last year. So what is the Model Y? What's going to change it? What type of innovations are going to happen inside that? Are you going to be able to customize it? I know those are some of the things that people who are, big Tesla drivers are some of the things that they're looking forward to or want inside of a vehicle. So what happens there, right? But the thing is, like, the main thing is still the main thing. Yes, you're going to refocus, but we've seen this happen before, right? Look at 21, look at the stock, look at 23, look at the stock, look at 25. I'm going to refocus. I'm going to be a better man. I'm going to be a better man.
Yeah.
And people believe in them. And so this is what we see. 20% in 5 days is crazy to have the type of miss that they had. It doesn't really add up. It doesn't make sense. So when people ask you, make sense of it.
I mean, there is a difference when Michael was on the court versus BJ Armstrong, though. We can't act like his shot to BJ. I don't want to smoke. But if he's in office and in headquarters and of a sound mind, he is still one of the richest men of all time, one of the greatest entrepreneurs of all time. But for everyone who keeps saying that they're a tech company, if they're tech, they're Nintendo 64.